concerned about where to get clients so that you can be able to meet your sales targets? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. My name is Iyore. I've trained over 23,000 salespeople across 5 countries: Nigeria, Ghana, USA, UAE, Rwanda. I'm an author of several books and resources on sales. I've been featured on a lot of media platforms to talk about successful selling. I worked at an organization where I was given a target to sell to 20 high net worth individuals, prospecting, and I was able to bring in 21 high net worth individuals in a single month. I also participated in a prospecting sales competition where I won, and I was sent for the World Cup for an all-expense paid trip by my organization. I also moved to another organization where I was able to double my portfolio and grow it by over 100% in just 11 months. So in this video, I'm going to show you how a relentless mindset can transform your prospecting. A relentless mindset can transform your prospecting. Now, in selling or in prospecting, 80% of your success when you prospect is psychological. Psychological meaning your mindsets, how you think, how you approach things, how you reason, how you see, your perception. 80% of it is from your mindset. Imagine if you had an exam, section A, 80 marks, section B, 20 marks, and you spent most of your time on section B, which is only 20 marks. You most likely wouldn't pass the exam. However, you will notice that in most exams, when section A has 80 marks and section B has 20 marks, section B seems to always be the easier aspect of the exam, while section A seems to have a lot of complexity, and that's why it carries most of the marks. So when we tell you that 80% of your success comes from your psychology or from your mindset, it's because of the complexity that holds when it comes to prospecting. So the challenge in prospecting is not the fact that, oh, I don't know where to go to, I don't know where to start, I don't know who to talk to, people are not responding to me. That's not even the issue. The issue here is the mindset that you currently have. The mindset you have towards prospecting. And I want to help you in this video now, walk you through some things you can do to tweak your mindset to be able to be on the path of advantage. First of all, understand what prospecting means. If you Google prospecting in a dictionary, or if you Google prospecting or check prospecting dictionary, you may not see anything that's related to selling. Because the very beginning and origin of prospecting is from gold prospecting. Now think of somebody who is looking for gold. How does he search for gold? One thing is sure, he is aware or he has certain information that there is gold in that area he's searching. He's not searching the whole of earth. He goes to a particular plot or a particular parameter of land or jurisdiction, and all he does is starts to dig because he has information that the gold is there. But does he know exactly where the gold is? No. So when you think about sales prospecting, we must understand that the prospect is there. The person who can buy is actually there in that market. But do we know exactly where he or she is? No, we don't. And that's the principle of prospecting. That's the first thing you should have in mind. We don't know exactly where the prospects are. We don't know exactly who is going to buy from us. But one thing we know, if we search everywhere, we will find them. And that's why when we talk about prospecting, your prospecting should only be in one direction. Oh, all I do is cold calling. Oh, all I do is post on social media. You want to explore all the options. If you're invited to speak on the podcast, you want to be there because your ideal client will be listening. If you're invited to be a part of a blog post, you want to be there. If you do cold calls, you want to do cold calls. There are events, you want to go for the events. You want to talk to people who you know. You want to ask your spouse, ask your relatives. You want to talk to your neighbors. You talk to security. You're going to be checking everywhere. Because prospecting, we are searching. We are scanning. We are searching everywhere to find where the opportunity is. Now, please understand that to make prospecting worth it for you, there must be a goal. You must have a goal. This prospecting you started right now, if I'm looking for gold, I know that if I find this gold, rich forever, right? That's the whole idea of people when they prospect for gold. So when you're looking for the prospect now, let it be that when you find this prospect and you close, yes, the search was worth it. If the search is not going to be worth it at the end of the day, your prospecting won't be effective. And there are many things you can do to make it worth it for you. It's either you ensure that you're selling something that will give you maximum value in terms of monetary value to you, or you're stacking the services to sell a huge amount to the right clients who will give it to you in a big way. Or another option, if what you sell, you can easily find many people to sell it, to buy it to. Maybe you sell fast-moving consumer goods. And in this case, it's a numbers thing. So you want to get to as many people as possible so that it will be worth it for you. Just make sure that at the end of the day, you plan it in such a way that when you're done, you will say, well done. I made some good money from this. So have a goal. That's the first thing. And the beautiful thing about having a goal is every day you take steps towards that goal. You know, sometimes you meet salespeople and you ask them, what's your target? And the person is not so sure. What's your target or goal or budget? Whichever word, you know, odds, they all mean the same thing. What's your target? And the person is not sure. And you're wondering, okay, but if you're not sure of the target, what are you working towards? So don't leave your target or the goal to your supervisor or to your boss. Know it as a person and intentionally decide how many possible engagements do I need to have to be able to get this goal? Or how many people do I need to talk to be able to get this goal? Decide what your numbers are and work with it. See, do your own part so that in a sense, God can do his own parts. Take the activities seriously and take the steps necessary to be able to get the result you want by having clear-cut goals and plans to achieving it. Now, my next point is, I said number one, have a goal. And I was trying to say earlier, I said, remember, if you have a tap that's not working effectively and you close it, but water is still dropping, in those drops, if you leave a bucket under that tap, in a few hours, if you come back, you notice that it's filled with water, but it was just tiny drops. Tiny drops. So I'm saying this because when you have a goal, you understand that every time you're talking to somebody, every time you're searching, every time you speak to someone, it's like that drop. Something is happening. Your opportunities are increasing. So you find the person who can be able to do the business or the transaction with you. The second thing is any targets can be met. Whatever target has been set by your organization, I have good news for you. There's no such thing as an unreasonable target. And I'll tell you when a target is unreasonable. A target is only unreasonable when by the time you map out how much you need to bring in on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or you start with annual, maybe they give a target for the year, and you break it down to what you have to do quarterly. If it's still too big to you, you break it down to what you have to do monthly. If it's still too big to you, you break it down to what you have to do weekly. If that number is still too massive and you can't see how to do it, come meet your supervisor and ask him and say, oh, I've been able to break down my targets to weekly basis. And as it is right now, that means I need to bring in 1 billion every week. I'll need some. And you've checked precedents. You've not seen anybody who has brought in this kind of thing. Then you come to supervisor and ask for clarity. Okay, what do you suggest we do? What's the expectations? How do we go about this? But in most cases, you'll find out that when a target is broken down from the annual to the quarterly to the monthly to the weekly, when you look at it, it will be sizable enough. Whether at the monthly level or weekly level or quarterly level, it will be sizable enough for you to be able to achieve it. And there are many things you can do when you think about your target. There are many things you can do. Don't always think about one person. Think about the fact that you can get an organization or somebody who can buy at a bulk or high level. So what I'm trying to let you know is that any target can be met. I remember when I was given a target to sell to 20 HNIs. See, in this organization I worked, if you brought in one high net worth individual in a month, it was a big deal. One was a big deal. So you can imagine how I felt when I was having my NPR session and the bosses tell me, go and get us 20 high net worth individuals next month. In my mind, the person who is even telling me, even he knows that he couldn't even bring in one or two. Because it was so difficult for us then. So pretty much that looked very, very impossible. 20 HNIs meant I needed to bring in one HNI per day. One per day. What's I going to start from when you couldn't even get one in a month? But I was in the car with a colleague of mine that day. And the guy said to me, he says, Iyore, how far were your targets? I said, I'll do my best. I'll do my best. Because it didn't make any sense. But he said to me, he says, Iyore, any target is achievable if you put your mind to it. And I said to myself, true, it's achievable. You know what? I went prospecting aggressively. Now, remember, imagine if my target was 20 a month, This meant 20 working days in a month. I needed to bring in one per day. One per day, it looked impossible. But guess what happened? One of the things that started to happen was the fact that instead of me bringing one per day, there were days I didn't even make any sale. But there were days I made 4. There were days I made 3. You see that? And one of the strategies I used, I talked about referral selling in the last video. One of the strategies that ended up playing out and helping me get so many people in a short time was referral selling. People who were satisfied with our services and happy with our services. I met one of our clients and the man says, Iyore, oh, you said you have a target to bring this number. Don't worry, let's go. He started taking me around his office. He said, meet this guy. This guy is really good. He will help you with this one. He started telling them what he had enjoyed from the services we had provided. And he's actually going to get the form for me. Someone says, bring the form for me. And that's how we get them to sign up in bulk, quickly. And from those ones, we were referring as well. So my point is, any target can be met. If you're relentless to win, when you make up your mind that you see, this thing, we are going to go for it, it will be met. History tells us the story about Roger Bannister. When Roger Bannister ran in the Olympics, it was said that nobody could run a mile in less than 4 minutes. No one could run a mile in less than 4 minutes. They had checked the muscles of human beings, the heart rates, the bone structure, and they said, it's not possible. You can't run a mile in less than 4 minutes. But Roger Bannister said to himself, we said I was going to do it. And he started to practice. History tells us that he practiced what we call short, intense exercises. And when Roger Bannister ran at the Olympics, the first time he ran, he didn't beat the record. But second or third time, when he ran at the Olympics, he was able to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Because he had made up his mind. And he said to himself, you know what? I'm going to win no matter what. Any target can be met. So don't let your target overwhelm you. Whatever it is you have to do, you can do. The third point is you want to choose to win. Choose to win. There is something about making up your mind to win, making that decision to win. And I want to continue on this tomorrow, where I'll tell you how choosing to win will give you the advantage when it's time for you to prospect. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to share this video with others who are into sales prospecting or who sell, because every salesperson is into prospecting, right? So remember to share, remember to like, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so that you can be notified when we're live for our next video. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to watch the next video right here. See you again.